Hey everybody, Scott Dailey here from Carl Stahl Sava Industries, and I'm joined by Michael Konig. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Michael did a 6-week internship with us, just finished up about a week ago. I'm particularly excited to have this conversation with Michael because it's been a couple years since we've done one of these sort of podcast-style conversations. Last one we did with Bryant Bartnick. Encourage you to check out our YouTube channel and have a listen. But today, Michael's in the chair, and I'm excited to have you, Michael.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, you bet. So let's just start with the basics. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I graduated St. Joseph Regional High School in Montvale, New Jersey in 2022. I'm now at Bryant University in Smithfield, Rhode Island. I'm a member of the honors program, finance major with minors in economics and psychology.
And why finance? Why is that your major?
I've always enjoyed working with numbers more than anything else. I like absolutes. You know, this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer, and that's
Eliminates debates.
yeah. That's
right. Unless you're talking to the marketer, and we continue to argue anyway.
Fair enough. But
so finance is your baby because it's binary in its nature, and it's a provable sort of method of coming to conclusions in business decisions.
Exactly.
And what did you do with Sava in your 6 weeks?
So Sava, I had some finance projects. I also worked in marketing and human resources as well.
So that is a diverse sort of spectrum of gigs, right? To do work in finance, to do work for marketing and sales, which we combine here at Sava, right? And then to do work with HR. So let's talk about them one at a time. Tell us about your finance projects.
Sure. So there were two major ones. The first was sort of cleaning up the asset list. I was given our entire list of assets, and then had to go department to department, figuring out, do we still have this? Is it operational? Is it gone? Once I did that, I worked with Wayne, our controller, on, do we keep this on the list, calculate depreciation, get rid of it, make a decision on that. The second was looking.
So that's a thoughtful. Let's just stop. That's a thoughtful project. It's not go get me coffee and shut up.
Oh, of course.
Right. You are engaged in a meaningful business initiative that was going to inform us. And enable us to make a better business decision with assets, right? Did you find that particularly satisfying because it was a practical exercise and not a theoretical or conceptual one?
Absolutely. I felt like, and that was the first thing I did in my first week at Sava.
Nice. So, that's audacious, huh?
Yeah, it's sort of the second I walked in the door, I felt like I was valued, and it was
that's good to hear,
important that I was here.
That was the goal. So I'm really glad to hear that you felt important right away. We want to give all of our employees, intern or not, purposeful, meaningful work. So at the end of the day, they feel like they've done something satisfying. So, so tell us about the marketing stuff you've done.
Sure. So marketing, I worked with a little bit of demand gen, list building, some SEO writing, search engine optimization for blogs and social media, and a little bit of video production here and there as well. And
did you find, I'm here in a marketing and sales capacity, in total disclosure, everybody. I communicate with finance all the time, just by virtue of me needing to spend $1 to go make a buck, right? So I'm constantly engaging in conversations with finance. Did you find the connective tissue between finance and marketing and the initiatives you undertook, even though they were wildly separated perhaps in their nature? Did you see how they are shaking hands with one another often?
Yeah, for sure. I, when I'm in class, I sort of see, finance is over here, marketing's over here.
Sure.
But when
they're not as disparate anymore, are they, in your mind?
No, not at all. It's they're very closely connected, and I really didn't realize that until I worked with both and saw how much they interacted with each other and how important it was that they were communicating with each other.
And does that help you? I don't want to digress too much before we get to the HR things. I'm also really curious about it. But did it help you form sort of an empathic opinion of both sides, that they both have responsibilities, different burdens, but the same burdens to the business and to the company and to the enterprise? Did you find it was interesting to see how these two organizations, which might have conflicting ideas from time to time, how they have to work together harmoniously? Everyone has to leave the table satisfied. Did you find that interesting? Did it escape your field of vision?
Yeah, it was evident that, they had the same goals, just different tasks working towards them. And it gave me a better understanding of both fields, both finance and marketing. It helped me to understand, what doing this in a finance capacity does this for the marketing department.
And how do you find that might lend to the balance of your college career, however long that it may be? I don't know if you're going to go to graduate school or not, but How do you find that knowing how this yin yang works together harmoniously? How do you find that that might help you as you enter the SMB space, assuming you do enter that space, or even a large corporation? How do you find that that might actually help you be a bit better equipped once you're actually in the field that you're studying?
Yeah, knowing that connection is obviously important, but it also gives me the foundation to understand much bigger connections. You know, at a larger corporation or bigger firm,
Mhm.
there's a lot of moving parts.
Sure.
And seeing at Sava on a smaller scale how everything works together, not just finance and marketing, every department here, seeing that on a smaller scale is helps me learn. You know, going forward, I can translate it to any size company that I work for, whether or not it's a small business or not.
And did you find, as you're describing that, sort of the intimate nature of your interactions with these departments, because Sava is as a mid-sized manufacturer,
Mhm.
did you find that the intimate size of the company was an advantage, a disadvantage? Can you expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely, it was an advantage because I felt like everything I did was meaningful. I
Mhm.
felt like I was valued. You know, the stigma around interns is, you know, go get me a coffee. There was none of that. Everything I did was incredibly, it was valuable. It was important to the business, and it was important to the people I was working with that I learned how to do it, which I really greatly appreciated.
And we haven't even touched yet. So tell us about the HR program you launched.
Yeah, so I worked a little bit with our HR director on a wellness week program, which we're looking to implement in September. I sort of started building out a financial wellness program. So
That's interesting because I would think wellness programs of an HR nature are often about are you getting enough steps in? Are you drinking enough?
Mhm.
Are you hydrating enough? You actually added a finance wellness arm to a larger wellness program for our employees.
yeah,
That's interesting. Go ahead. Keep
yeah.
talking about it.
So the wellness week program includes sort of physical, mental, and financial wellness.
Interesting.
I was sort of given the third one. Um, I worked on, you know, building out ways that we can teach our employees certain financial wellness topics to
For
better improve them.
example,
For example, just investments, retirement planning, budgeting, stuff like that. My sort of approach to it was I don't know what they don't know.
sure. Yeah.
So I want to lay out everything that I possibly can. Uh, you know, here are all the topics. This is what we are going to offer for you to learn about it. I want you to go to pick out what do you want to learn about.
Well, that had to have been. I don't want to pick favorites on your behalf, because please feel free to comment. But that sounds to me like it would be gratifying, especially gratifying because you're actually giving away wisdom they otherwise may not acquire if not for the initiative.
Yeah,
Did
and
that feel differently rewarding in some way? It seems to be to me.
incredibly, it's and even for me in my position, you know, I'm 20 years old. I haven't started thinking about, you know, the next
Understood.
however many years. So the position I'm in, I feel like I'm learning from this as well. It's I'm learning what I need to better equip myself to go out and build a career and build a life, and that's incredibly valuable and important. And I'm incredibly happy I got it here at Sava.
And we touched on this a moment ago, but if you could expand, that'd be terrific. Tell me about how you think that the 6 weeks you spent with us has better equipped you for what happens next for you.
Sure. So an important point for me coming to a, you know, medium-sized business like you said was I'm not overwhelmed. I see sort of everything on a bit of a smaller scale,
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm experienced in that if I want to go the small to medium business route, which chances are I will. Most people who work at a small to medium sized business.
Yeah.
Or if I go to a larger corporation, I have a good foundation of how everything works and how departments operate, that I can now see it on a bigger scale and I'm not overwhelmed or intimidated.
So a little while ago in our conversation, you mentioned why you chose finance as a major, and you like the binary nature of it, the sort of the indefendable nature of it, right?
Mm.
It's just the facts, almost a third party in the room. There's my opinion, your opinion, and the math,
Yeah.
right? So, okay, that being said, that's not marketing, right? Marketing
Mm.
is big idea stuff. It's amorphous concepts, right? You have to imagine the psychographic or the demographic or firmographic nature of your buyer and try to serve meaningful, incentivized marketing to them so that they do the thing we want them to do, which is click, call, stuff like that. So, given you're a finance major and you've expressed pretty clearly that why you like finance and marketing is a significant departure from that tool set, that skill set. How did you find the transition working in marketing where you had to come up with creative concepts and ideas that are far from ones and zeros?
Yeah, it was at first it was challenging because like you said,
It's like outside your zone, right?
I've always worked with yes and no, never maybe this, maybe that. But I enjoyed it, and I think it's a valuable skill. You know, I'm not the most creative person in the world.
Okay.
But I think
unless it's numbers, then you turn into Jackson Pollock. But right, but outside that, right. So you wrote articles for Sava, right?
Yeah.
They dealt in finance because we encourage you to write towards your area of expertise. How was that creative writing exercise for a finance major?
I enjoyed it. I do enjoy writing a bit. But I felt like, writing a blog article was something completely different from anything I've ever done.
Did it feel different as writing goes, as essay writing?
Oh, very.
Or sentence structure goes? Did you find that it was significantly different?
One of the problems I had while writing this stuff was, I really only ever written in an academic context.
Understood.
I've never written with the intention of anyone other than a teacher.
Trying to acquire clicks and
yes.
clout. Right. You've never written a piece of marketing collateral called a blog. Right. Go on.
Yeah. But as I sort of got the hang of it, kept working on it, I felt like I got pretty good at it for the short time that I worked on it. And it's a valuable skill to have because...
Tell me about that. Why is it a valuable skill in your opinion?
I feel like a lot of people could get it wrong. It's easy to get wrong. So just having somewhat of a foundation, baseline level of knowledge on how to do it, I think gives me a step up. And also at a business the size of Sava, everybody has to work a little bit outside their comfort zone, so to speak.
That's the only way new ground gets broken.
Exactly.
Right.
It's, every department has to work together. There's no, at a much larger corporation, there's incredibly specialized people who really just work on, one area. Whereas at a smaller, medium-sized business, you have to be able to work everywhere. And, being a finance major who now has a bit of a marketing background as well, I think makes me incredibly valuable to any company that could use my help. I
think you're right. And I am a marketer for 100 years. I think you're right. I think knowing how to write for the internet as a finance expert, when you're going to enter maybe a financial consulting company, big or small, is going to see that as a feather in your cap because it's extremely hard to write for the internet. You're absolutely right. It's extremely hard to succeed writing for the internet. The fact that you're able to do that and acquire that skill demonstrates, well, that you're coachable, that you're open to stepping, like you said, outside of your comforts. I think that your future employers are going to be grateful that you possess this skill because it is a scarce skill. So kudos to you. So new question entirely. How did the company receive you? What was your experience from your point of view? How did the company receive and prepare and equip you from the day you walked in the door?
Well, from day one, from minute one, I was welcomed and everyone was really, really excited to have me in the building, which, it sort of killed some of the nerves that I may have had.
So you came here with a little bit, maybe a little on your heels.
A little apprehensive.
Sure, yeah.
But it was gone day one. Everyone was really excited to have me here, and everyone was really, it was important to people that I learned whatever they had to teach me. And from a perspective, I see it from a perspective of they're telling me what they wanted to know when they were 20 years old. So
that's a neat point of view.
Yeah.
That's neat. Yeah, that's cool. That's an astute observation on your part. So I have one more question for you, and then we can wrap up. You've been a great conversation. I appreciate you making the time, Michael. Yeah, I bet. So, what would you tell a student who, forgetting about what they're studying, whether it's engineering, finance, someone like me in marketing and sales, what would you tell them if they're looking for small to medium business internship opportunities? What would be your advice to folks like that might take a look at Sava as an opportunity to learn in an internship capacity?
Well, it goes back to what I was saying before, that learning is a point of emphasis here. Everyone I worked with not only just wanted me to get the work done, but they wanted me to see how to do it, why I was doing it,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
impact it had on every other part of the company, every other project I was doing.
We were never sending you for coffee.
Never.
There was never busy work, right? There was never fill the printer with a ream of paper, right?
Exactly.
You were actually assisting us with business imperatives, business initiatives.
Yeah. Everything I did was important in some way, and I really appreciate that, and I think other internship candidates would really appreciate that, because you maybe it looks good on a resume, but no one wants to go for an internship and just get people coffee and fill the printer.
Right.
That's, you take a job or you take an internship because you want to learn and you want to grow for whatever your next step may be. And I feel like here at Sava, that's a great place to do it.
Okay. Wonderful conversation, Michael. I appreciate your time. Thanks again. We hope to have you back, maybe as an employee one day. Who knows? Good luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
And again, one more time, thanks so much, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank everybody for watching my conversation with Michael. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed this or our other videos. We're found all over the internet. And again, thanks so much.